I found this small vintage German book titled Die Vereinigten Staaten von Amerika, translating into United States of America, and thought this is perfect to turn into a quick little travel journal. So I'm getting ready for my retreat in the US in Salt Lake City coming up in just a couple of weeks, which is just unbelievable. And I wanted something compact where I can jot down things like to-do lists, capture moments in a diary, maybe collect ephemera, and even add photos I can print on the go with a little travel printer. So if you're heading on a vacation or you just love the idea of making a journal from an old book, this might just be the inspiration you need. Welcome, it's Barbara from Vienna, Austria. So I found this little book at my Goodwill a couple of years ago, not knowing what I would use it for, but given my association with the US and given that most of my subscribers there and that I have lived there and that I have such a deep connection with the United States, and given that this is a vintage book, obviously I had to get this. Also, the spine is intact, so I don't want to cut that apart. This is the back. This book was published in Berlin in 1933. And what I found so funny here is, for example, it says here, mit vielen Bildern, meaning with lots of pictures. But then when you look through it, there aren't a lot of pictures. But maybe for back then, it was a lot of pictures, you know? So here we have a panorama of Chicago, for example, 1930s. I'm sure it looks very different now. A view onto Hollywood. I'm sure that has completely changed. Again, we have Chicago. A car graveyard. Look at the cars, they're so cute. This is hilarious. Here, panorama of Los Angeles. This has definitely changed a lot. Here, oil fields on the Californian coast. Pittsburgh on top, and on the bottom we have Chicago with all of its factories. And I've also already picked out some papers that I want to use. And given that I will mostly be writing and documenting and adding to-do lists and such, I don't want to have any like vintage book pages or anything with a lot of images on it, because that's not going to work. But I do plan on adding maybe some digitals at the very end once I have written in here and put everything in here I want to put here. So if there are blank pages then left at the end, I will probably add some digital papers or whatever I feel like adding. But for now, we have all these papers that I could imagine writing on. And it's a mixture of coffee dyed papers, cabbage dyed papers. There's a video on how I dyed these. I can link that below for you if you haven't seen it. These are some fails from some eco dyeing, but why not use these as writing page? Also, the actual papers are different. So these are, for example, watercolor papers. These are regular copy papers. We have an envelope here. This is some rust dyeing, regular coffee dyeing, vintage lined papers. These two are made with a bubble technique. I also have a separate video on how I do that. I will link that for you below. Yeah, and then we have these two file folder cards and these little scraps. But first, we need to take out the papers on the cover. But actually, the very first thing I'm going to do is I want to keep the cover as it is, with one exception. I want to add one thing. So I have these beautiful images here, and you can see there's a dragonfly. Actually, maybe this size is the best size, because this little dragonfly is going to the US in her capacity as 49 dragonflies. So I think we all agree that this cover needs a dragonfly on it. And I think I will not add the tail this long, but make that shorter. So let's take some water. Actually, this is water with glue in it because my glue brush is in here from another project. I don't think it matters. So we'll just outline this little dragonfly so that we can tear it, because as far as I remember, see, I only used, I think, one image here. I think that was also a dragonfly. And you could actually still see the edge of where I tore it. So I really don't want to cut it, because if I cut it, it will look like it was cut and you will see a straight edge, which is totally not what I want. I think I need to be quick, because I think since it's so hot here, the water will dry very quickly and then I won't be able to tear it. I hope I'm not going to tear into. Maybe I should just cut around it a little bit to make it easier. This is not as easy to tear as napkins, but it seems to be going okay. Oops, nearly tore that wing off. We need both wings to fly to the US. I cannot believe how fast time is flying. It's crazy. And I'm so super excited. I will again put the link for the retreat down below for you if you haven't had a chance to look at it or are just curious. This is for me one of my biggest adventures. Okay, this is really drying now. One of my biggest adventures, definitely one of my biggest as 49 dragonflies. So I am very, very excited to meet everybody and to just have a great time together. So that went quite well, actually. We have a fuzzy little dragonfly. So I'm not sure yet how to actually place this on here. And I'm thinking maybe it needs the 49 as well. I have these beautifully distressed numbers here. This little box is by a company called Deco. I have no idea what it's called. There's nothing else here, no number or anything. I found this in a bookstore years ago, so I wish I could link these, but I don't know where else to get these. And I'm thinking it needs maybe the 49 somewhere. I don't know how. Nope. None of these seem like the perfect placement. And maybe I also even want to add the year, so 2025, maybe right up here, 2025. Yeah, why not? And I'll just stamp that in permanent black archival ink and hope I don't mess this up. There's no going back. If I mess this up, I'm going to have to redo the whole cover, which I really, really don't want. Okay, that's crooked, but I guess it's okay. It's a handmade journal, right? And it's for me and for my travels, and this really doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to show you, I have 3 more of these adorable stamp sets. I love each and every one of these 2 bits. They all just say Deco on the back with this salamander. Look, there's this one. I don't know which one I love most. It has like these adorable fairies. And they all stamp so beautifully. You see, they have such tiny details, but they stamp just absolutely beautifully. So if you can get a hold of these, I can highly recommend them. Here, as you can see, it's all about tea. They are a bit hard to open. I love this little biscuit here. And the teacup with the bird here. It's just so adorable. And finally, we have this one with the hearts and stars. Also absolutely adorable. I'm sure they have more, but these were the ones that I had to have. I'm sure you understand. So then I'll take my Liquitex matte medium. This is very thin. And let's adhere our little dragonfly. So very important, if it's close to what you stamped, you need to make sure this is permanent ink. Otherwise, this is going to smear now. We don't want that. And now I'm wondering if I should maybe add some of these roses here on the bottom. Very undecided without, with. I mean, it's such a weird thing to decorate it like this. It's so not like me to have everything in one row, but everything else seems weird. Should we do this? Let's do it. Maybe cover the whole book. That should protect it also a little bit. So it's time to gut our book. So we're just going to open this. This is one of those books that has a hollow spine, which is perfect. So we're just going to carefully cut in between this first page and the spine without actually cutting through the spine. So we want to keep that in this case. And then we just fold this around and cut on the other side as well. This should be very easy to cut if it's a vintage book. So this we can leave for something else. I wish there was a photo of Utah or Salt Lake City. That would have been really cool, but there is not. I think the closest that they have in there is Arizona. Usually vintage books have quite a flimsy and brittle spine, so we definitely want to reinforce that because this is too flimsy and we want to make sure that this journal does not fall apart, obviously. Actually, first of all, let me glue this part down here, which is already coming off. Probably the easiest way to strengthen a book spine is to use some packaging tape. I have this brown packaging tape, which is perfect. You can also use one of these clear ones or the shiny ones with the brown. I see a lot as well. So I'll just tape this along our spine. Then I'll take my bone folder. You could also take a ruler or even a pencil and just burnish that. And we see how crookedly I added the tape. It's okay, we'll be covering it. Okay, that already gives it a lot more stability. So then I want to cover these inside covers here. And I found this paper here, which I'm pretty sure is Tim Holtz. I received this as a gift. Look how perfect this is, because we have the stars here with the blue background, and here we have a white background with the blue stars. So that is just perfect. So I will cut 2 of these. Just make them a little bit bigger than the white paper that we have here. Then I will ink up all my edges with walnut stain. So the question is, do we glue these down now and glue our spine over them, or do we first glue our spine down and then glue these over the spine? I would say there's no right or wrong. Both will look beautiful. And I think for this one, I will first glue these down and then glue the spine on top. Just because. So I'll just take some tacky glue So next we're going to make the spine. I'm going to make mine out of a strip of canvas. Don't worry if you don't have canvas, use something like Tyvek from like an express mailer, or sturdy packaging paper, or even a piece of an envelope or a piece of a paper bag. Anything that is not too thick but sturdy. So I think the width is perfect. So I have about 1 inch on either side of the spine. And then I just have to measure the height, and I'll keep that as tall as my panels here on the inside. So next we want to do something with this white background here. Lots of things we could do. We could spray it, paint it, stencil it, stamp it. Or what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a piece of fabric on top, which will be a piece of this one. So it's by Marsha Dursey and it's called Treasure Hunt. It has the same blue as we have in the stars here. So I'm going to cut a strip which is just a little bit wider than my canvas. I really like this one because it's thicker than your regular thin cotton materials. So then we just need to glue this on. I'll just use my tacky glue directly on the canvas and then spread it with a wet paintbrush. I think this is definitely the quickest option. So this will peek out on the top and the bottom of my journal, which is what I wanted. So you don't know this, but actually it's the next day and this is where we're at. This is what has happened and I am not happy. So the things I've added were the She Who Creates with this roller stamp. I'll link one of these below for you. And the gold splatters, because I was thinking I can't have a 49 Dragonfly covers without gold splatters. But in the end, this is what ruined it for me. This would have been okay, which is the title of the retreat. But the gold splatters completely ruined it. I should have covered up this and the 49. Now you can't even read the 49 or the sign here. And none of this works for me. So I've been sitting here trying to think what to do. My first thought was turn it around, use this as the front cover because from the inside it doesn't matter at this point. And then we would just have to figure out what to do with the back, cover that completely. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized, yes, I love the vintage look. Yes, I love this original cover. But what I do not love is it doesn't connect for me with my retreat because the colors of my retreat are pink and black. So the logo is black and pink. The t-shirts are going to be black and pink or black and turquoise. So this just doesn't work for me. So I'm going to do something very radical. First of all, I'm going to color the spine in black. And I know a lot of you will say, no, it's a beautiful vintage book. I get it. And I will keep the back as is so that we can still see what the original cover looked like, but I cannot do this. I just can't. It doesn't make me happy, and I need a book that I want to grab, that I want to play with, and this is not it. So let's do this. I know it hurts. Whoops, that was a lot, Barbara. Always I do this. I don't think I've ever painted a book spine. It's the first time for everything. Should have put tape here so I don't go over the line. Why do I always get myself into these nerve-wracking situations? I don't know. Okay, on the front here, I don't have to be so precise because we're covering this up anyway. But that's what happens when you experiment. gonna make mistakes. You're gonna figure things out as you go. That's all part of the process. We'll have our fabric covering this anyway, but it will be a hollow spine, so we will see that top part. Oh gosh, I got paint here. That's not good. Okay, so this is the ugly stage of the project. Hopefully it won't stay in the ugly stage. But I've just decided I'm just gonna let loose. Stop being a perfectionist. This is supposed to be fun and playful. And, you know, if it's not perfect anymore, it's an art book. It's a junk journal. It's gonna be messy. And who knows what else this is gonna get on it. And actually, everything that it gets on it is just gonna add to its character. So there's that. So for the front, I want to add some fun papers that match the vibe of the retreat. So I have this ephemera holder that I made a while ago. I love this one a lot. It has these large clear pockets. Some of the pockets are smaller. I really, really love this one. And I will link the video where I made this for you below in case you have not seen it. And what I really, really love is that on this closure here, there's a little bell. And that sound makes me happy. It's the little things, isn't it? So I was thinking about these here because they have this neon pink that I have in my logo. So let's cut some of these down. I love the stenciling here. And arrange these somehow. These are definitely too big. There's also some gold on these. You see that? Perfect. So let's start layering these. So I'm going to go with this. And I'm just going to attach all of these to each other. Then I'll make sure my edge is straight. And then I'm going to take this to my sewing machine. Okay, so this is what I have now. So I just stitched along all of my paper edges and around the whole paper. So this is much more the vibe of the retreat. Fun and bold, whimsical, perfect. But before I attach this, I want to add the 49 to my spine. This, or do I want it like this? Yeah, I think I want it like this, and I'm going to emboss it in gold. So this is my clear embossing dabber. It's crooked. We're gonna go with it. Gold embossing powder by Ranger. There we go. Distressed 49. I like that a lot. So now we can adhere our paper. I think sometimes you have to go through these stages to figure out what you don't want, because that's important too. The biggest mistake would have been now to just give up, put the book to the side and say, I don't like this, and that's it. No, you keep working on it until you're happy with it. And if that means covering everything up, then it means covering everything up. Because the only thing that matters here is that you enjoy your book or your junk journal or your planner or whatever it is that you're making. It's the only thing that matters. Not what anyone else says, whether they understand that you're covering a beautiful vintage book. No, none of it matters. And we're just getting started. In part 2, I'll be adding some fun details to the outside cover, making changes to the inside and spine, and then it's time to finally bring it all together. Signatures, sewing, and a closure to keep everything safe. And of course, I'll show you a full flip through of the finished journal, so stay tuned. It only gets better from here. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.